Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today's lecture is about solutions and colloids. It is the first lecture, and in this lecture we will learn about different concentration units. When we use the term concentration and the dilute, what are the meaning of these dilute and concentrated solution? A dilute solution is one which contain relatively small amount of the solute. When there will be small amount of solute is present, then we will say that this solution is the dilute solution. And in case of the concentrated solution is one which contain relatively greater amount of the solute. If very small amount of solute is present, then we will say that it is the dilute solution. And when relatively a large amount of solute is present in the solution, we will say that it is the concentrated solution. And we need to define the solution composition more precisely in order to perform the calculations. We must know about the exact amount of the solute that is dissolved in the solvent. So the amount of the solute, solvent and solutions are expressed in different units. They may be expressed by the volume, mass, or by number of moles. Now first of all we will learn about the percent composition. Percent composition is the amount of the solute and the solvent can be expressed in percentage composition in 4 different ways. First one is the percentage weight by weight, and in this solute and solvent both will be calculated in terms of their weight. Percentage weight by volume, solute will be considered in terms of the weight, and solvent will be taken in terms of volume. Percentage volume by weight, our solute will be taken in terms of the volume and solvent will be in terms of weight. And last is the percentage volume by volume, in which both the solute and solvent, they will be considered in the form of volume. First one is the mass percent. It is the weight of the solute dissolved per 100 parts by weight of the solution. So solute is taken in the form of the weight, as well as our solvent will also be taken in the form of the weight. Just like if we consider 5% weight by weight sugar, it means 5 grams of the sugar is dissolved in 100 gram of the solution in water. 5 gram sugar in 100 gram of the solution, it means this solution contain 95 gram of water, and total volume of the solution, it will be 100. 5 gram sugar plus 95 gram of the water. The solution will be 5% weight by weight. So percentage by weight mean mass of the solute divided by mass of solution multiplied to the 100. Just like an example is given here, calculate the mass percent of the solution containing 10 gram sugar dissolved in 100 gram of water. So when we put these values in the formula, 10 gram of the solute, this is 10 gram sugar, and mass of the solution is 10 gram sugar and 100 gram of the water. And when we multiply all this value with the 100, we will get our mass percent. That is 9.09% as the solution. Now what is the percent weight by volume? It is the weight of the solute. Solute is taken in terms of the weight and it is dissolved in 100 parts by volume of the solution. Just like 10 gram of the glucose is dissolved in 100 cubic centimeter of the solution, it will be 10% weight by volume solution. Quantity of the solvent is not exactly known. Actually, we will take exact amount of the solute and we will dissolve and make the volume up to 100 cubic centimeter. That is why the quantity of solvent is not exactly known. And in such solutions, total volume of the solution is considered. So percent weight by volume means mass of the solute that is taken in grams and volume of the solution that is taken in cubic centimeter, and multiply all this value with the 100, we will get percent weight by volume solution. Percent volume by weight, it means number of the cubic centimeter of the solute. So solute is in the form of liquid. Cubic centimeter of the solute dissolve in 100 gram of the solution. Just like if we dissolve 10 cubic centimeter of the alcohol in the water and total weight of the solution is 100 gram. It will be 10% volume by weight solution. And in such type of the solutions, we don't know the total volume of the solution. As in the previous, you have seen that when we take the weight by volume, in the same way when we will take the volume by weight, so total weight of the solution will be 100 gram. So exact amount of the solvent is still not known there. So total volume of the solution is not known when we take the volume by weight or weight by volume percent solution. In both cases, we make the solution up to the 100 parts. If we take the percent volume by weight, we will the total weight of the solution will be 100 gram. And if we will take the weight by volume, then total volume of the solution will be 100 gram. And in both cases, exact amount of the solvent is not considered. Percent weight by volume, so volume of the solute that is taken in cubic centimeter divided by mass of the solution multiplied to the 100, we will get the percent weight by volume. Now what is percent volume by volume? It is the volume of the solute dissolved in 100 cubic centimeter of the solution. This unit of concentration is best applicable to the solutions of the liquids in liquids. Just like if we take 12% alcohol solution, then what we have to do, 12 cubic centimeter of alcohol is dissolved in 100 cubic centimeter of the solution. Volume of the solution will be, total volume of the solution will be 100 cubic centimeter. But it is not necessary in all cases. In such solutions, total volume of the solution may not be necessarily equal to the sum of volume of the solute and solvent. It is not necessary that it is always the 100 times. It is equal to the 100 cubic centimeter. Just we will take the 12 cubic centimeter of the solution and we will dissolve it in 100 cubic centimeter of the solution. That will also be the volume by volume percent solution. So volume of the solute in cubic centimeter. In the same way, volume of the solution is also in cubic centimeter. Multiply to the 100, we will get the percent percent volume by volume. Now what is the molarity? Molarity is the number of moles of the solute dissolved in 1 liter of the solution. Moles of solute dissolved per decimeter cube of the solution. So to prepare 1 molar solution of glucose in the water, we will take 180 gram of the glucose and sufficient water to make the total volume up to 1 liter. As the formula is given to you, molarity, it is denoted by the capital M. It is equal to the moles of the solute dissolved in 1 liter of the solution. And number of moles, they are equal to the mass of the solute that is given in our questions, what will be the mass of the solute. It is given in the question. So mass of the solute divided by molar mass of the solute. When we will solve this quantity, it will be equal to the number of moles of the solute. So when we want to calculate the moles of the solute, just what we have to do, we will divide the given mass of the solute divided by the molar mass of the solute. As you can see here, if you want to prepare 1 molar solution of the glucose, So what we'll take 180 gram of the glucose. So it is the molar mass of the glucose. So 180 gram of glucose is dissolved in 1 liter. That will be equal to 1 molar solution. So mass of moles of solute is calculated as given in the formula. And what we will do if volume of solution is not given in decimeter cube, if it is given in centimeter cube. So if the solution is given in centimeter cube, we will convert in decimeter cube. And what is the formula to convert is volume of the solution in decimeter cube will be equal to volume in cubic centimeter divided by 1000. When we apply this, we will convert the cubic centimeter solution in cubic decimeter solution or in 1 liter solution. So when we will put these values, it is the number of moles and it is the volume of solution in cubic decimeter. When we will put these values in the above formula, we will get it as moles of solute are equal to mass of solute divided by molar mass of the solute. And volume of solution is volume in cubic centimeter divided by 1000. So multiply this, as this value volume of solution, it is in denominator, and when we will put this value in denominator, definitely it will become reverse. So due to the sign of this multiplication, this value will become reverse, 1000 divided by volume in decimeter cube. Sorry, it is not the volume in centimeter cube. So we will get the volume of the solution in decimeter cube in this way, and putting this value, it will be the equal to number of moles of the solute. We will calculate the molarity of solution. As here example is given, any fluid infused intravenously into an individual must be isotonic with the blood cells and the blood plasma. Such infusions are either 5% dextrose solution or 0.9% normal saline. The first solution is composed of 5 gram of the glucose. 5% dextrose means 5 grams of the solute, 5 grams of the sugar in 100 cubic centimeter of the solution. And 0.9% normal saline mean 0.9 gram sodium chloride dissolved in 100 centimeter cube of the solution. So calculate the molarity of these solutions. We have to calculate the molarity of both these solutions separately. So what we have to do, first of all, we will calculate the molarity of 5% dextrose solution. The same formula for the molarity, moles of solute divided by volume of the solution. Now moles of solute are not given. First we have to calculate the moles of solute by the formula, mass of solute divided by molar mass of the solute. As our solute is dextrose, it is the glucose, and mass of this dextrose is 5%, mean 5 grams dissolved in 100 cubic centimeter. So mass of solute, molar mass of the solute, it is 180 gram as I have told you, multiply to the 1000 divided by volume of solution in cubic centimeter. So we will put the values here. Mass of solute is 5 gram, molar mass of the solute is 180 gram, multiply to 1000, and volume of solution in cubic centimeter, that is 100 centimeter cubic solution. So when we will solve this value, we will get the answer 0.25 molar solution. Second part is the molarity of 0.9% normal saline solution. Again, in the same formula, we will put the values. Mass of the solute, that is 0.9 gram. Molar mass of the solute is 58.5 gram. Sodium chloride, mass of sodium chloride is, molar mass is 58.5 gram. Multiply to the 1000 divided by volume of solution in centimeter cube, that is 100 cubic centimeter solution is there. So when we will solve this value, we will get the molarity of the solution, that is 0.15 molar. Now the second question is the potassium hydroxide is used in manufacturing of liquid soap, paints and varnish removers. Experimenter needs 25 centimeter cubic of 0.015 molar potassium hydroxide. So what is given in the question? Experimenter need 25 cubic centimeter of 0.015 molar potassium hydroxide. Molarity of potassium hydroxide is given. Volume is of the solution is given to you. So what mass of potassium hydroxide he will dissolve to make this solution? So we have to calculate the mass. First of all, we will put the formula here. That is, molarity is equal to mass of solute divided by molar mass of the solute multiplied to the 1000 divided by volume of solution in cubic centimeter. So when we put the values, first we have to calculate the molar mass of potassium hydroxide, that is equal to the 56 gram. Molarity of the solution is given, that is 0.015. Mass of the solute, we have to calculate this. Molar mass of the solute we have calculated here, it is the 56 gram. 1000 divided by what solution he need, that is 25 cubic centimeter, it is given. So when we will solve these value, mass of solute will be here and all other values, when we will shift towards the other side of the equal sign, they will have the reverse signs. So when we will calculate the mass of the solute, we will get 0.021 grams. It means 0.021 grams of the potassium hydroxide, it will be dissolved to get the 0.015 molar potassium hydroxide solution. What is the molality? Molality is the number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 kilogram of the solvent. 1 kilogram or 1000 grams of the solvent. Just like in order to prepare 1 molar solution, we don't have to take any flask. 180 gram of the glucose is dissolved in 100 gram of the water. Simple mass of water is taken here. 100 gram of the water or 1 kilogram of the water is taken and 180 gram of glucose is dissolved in, and this solution will be 1 molar solution of glucose. Total mass of the solution will become as 100 gram of the solvent plus 180 gram of the glucose. It is 1180 gram of the solution. We don't know the volume of the exact volume of the solution. In order to know the volume, we need the density of the solution in this case, if we want to calculate the exact amount of solution. Now simple molality is the number of moles of solute dissolved in 1 kilogram of the solvent. So the formula of this molality is denoted by the small m. It is equal to moles of the solute divided by mass of the solvent in kilograms. So mass of the solute divided by molar mass of the solute multiplied to the mass of the solvent in kilograms. We can calculate this as number of moles are equal to mass of solute divided by molar mass of the solute. What is the mole fraction? Mole fraction of any component in a mixture is the ratio of the number of moles to the total number of moles of all the components present. Just like if there are the 3 components A, B and C in a solution. So the number of moles for each, Na indicate the number of moles of A, Nb indicate the number of moles of B, Nc indicate the number of moles of the C. So the mole fraction of the A, B and C will be expressed as the XA, mole fraction of the A, XB mole fraction of the B, and XC is the mole fraction of C. So the formula for this mole fraction of the A, mole fraction of A will be calculated as number of moles of the A divided by total number of moles of all the components present in the mixture. In the same way, mole fraction of the component B will be calculated as number of moles of the B divided by total number of moles of all the components present in the mixture. And mole fraction for the C will be as number of moles of the C divided by total number of moles of all the components present in the mixture. So mole fraction is actually the ratio of the number of moles of the component divided by total number of moles of all the components present in the mixture. Here an example is given. Urea is a white crystalline solid produced commercially as a fertilizer and starting material for the plastics. It is non-volatile and non-ionizable compound. What is the mole fraction of the urea in an aqueous solution? That is 0.25 molal urea. So molality of the solution is given to you. You have to calculate the mole fraction of the urea. So mole fraction of urea will be equal to number of moles of urea divided by number of moles of urea plus number of moles of the water. Definitely there are the two components present. One is the urea and second is the number of moles of the water. First, the molar mass of the urea, it is the 60 gram. And moles of the water are mass of the water divided by molar mass of the water. So mass of the water is 1000 gram, as it is given that it is the molar solution. So 1000 gram divided by molar mass of the water is 18 gram. It will be equal to 55.5. So when we will put these values, as I have told you that it is the 0.25 molar solution, it means 0.25 is the number of moles of urea here. So we all these values, when we put this in this formula, what we get here? So mole fraction of urea equal to number of moles of urea, it is 0.25. Number of moles of urea 0.25 and the number of moles of water as 55.5. When we will solve this value, we will get the mole fraction of the urea. What is the parts per million? Parts per million is defined as the number of parts. These number of parts may be by weight or may be by volume. So number of parts of the solute in 1 million parts by weight or the volume of the solution. So solution may be taken by weight or may be taken by volume. Number of parts of a solute in per million parts of the solution is considered as parts per million. And this unit is used for very low concentration of the solutions. Just like if we want to express some impurity present in the solution, we will use this part per million value. So parts per million, it is equal to the mass of solute divided by mass of solution multiplied to the 10 raised to the power 6. What are the parts per billion? It is the number of parts by weight or volume of the solute per billion parts by weight or volume of the solution. As in parts per million, it is the parts of the solute dissolved in 1 million of the solution. In the same way, when number of parts of the solute, it is dissolved in billion parts by weight of volume of the solution, we will get it is part per billion. So in the numerical form, we will write it mathematically. We will write it in this form: mass or volume of the solute divided by mass or volume of the solution multiplied to the 10 raised to the power 9. And in the same way, parts per trillion is the number of parts by weight or volume of the solute per trillion part by weight or volume of the solution. And mathematically, we will express in the same way: mass or volume of the solute divided by mass or volume of the solution multiplied to 10 raised to the power 12. So here an example is given. Calculate the parts per million by mass of calcium in 2.5 gram tablet. It means 2.5 gram tablet. It contains how much amount of the calcium? As amount of calcium is 500 milligram of the calcium is given there. So parts per million, we will put the formula and we will put the values here. Parts per million is the mass of the solute. As mass of the solute, it is the 500 milligram of the calcium. 500, it is in milligram, so we will convert this milligram into the grams. That will be equal to 0.5 gram. And mass of the solution, that is the mass of the solvent in which total amount, this total mass of the tablet is given here. We will consider it as the mass of solution. It is the 2.5 gram, and multiply to this 10 raised to the power 6. So when we will put the values in the above formula, and we will get the answer, it is 0.2 ppm. So 0.2 parts per million calcium is present in 2.5 gram tablet. And the same way, in another question, you can see here the wastewater from a cement factory contained 22 milligram calcium ions and 0.006 gram of the magnesium ions per kilogram of the solution. Weight of the solution is kilogram. Calculate the concentration of both these ions, calcium ions and magnesium ions. We have to calculate the concentration of both these. So one by one we will calculate it. Parts per million, for as the formula is given. So amount of the calcium ions, or parts per million of calcium ions, will be calculated as mass of the calcium, that is 22 milligram. Again we will convert this milligram into the grams. It is equal to 0.022 grams, divided by mass of the solution is given, it is 1 kilogram, 1000 gram of the solution, multiply to the 10 raised to the power 6. So we will get the answer, it is 22 ppm. So calcium ions, concentration of this calcium ions is 22 ppm. In the same way we will calculate the concentration of the magnesium ions, as it is given 0.006 grams of magnesium divided by 1000 gram of the solution, multiply to this. By solving this we will get the answer, it is 6 ppm. So concentration of calcium and magnesium we calculate by using the formula parts per million. And in this question, the gold occur in the sea water at an average concentration of 1.09 raised to the power minus 2 ppb, parts per billion. How many kilogram of water must be processed to recover 1 milligram of the gold? So we want to recover this amount of the gold, and how much of the solution we will process. So by using the simple formula, mass or volume of solute divided by mass or volume of the solution, multiply to the 10 raised to the power 9. Here parts per billion concentration is given 1.09 raised to the power minus 2. We will put the values, and mass of volume of the solute, it is 1 to 10 raised to the power minus 6. As it is 1 milligram, we will convert this in grams. So 1 milligram, when we will convert it in the grams, we will get 1 raised to the power minus 6 kilograms of the gold. And why we have converted from milligram to the kilogram? Because weight of the solution is given in kilogram. That is why we convert this milligram value into the kilogram. So 1 milligram of gold is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 6 kilogram, divided by mass or volume of the solution. We have to calculate this, how much water need to be processed. So it is in kilogram, multiply to 10 to the power 9. So when we will calculate it as kilogram of the water, equal to this value will be remain here, and this value, when we will move it on the other side of the equal sign, it will come in denominator. Multiply to the same 10 raised to the power minus 9. When we will solve the values, we will get the answer, kilograms of the water that are needed to process. Now the Raoult's law, according to this Raoult's law, when a non-volatile solute is dissolved in a solvent, vapor pressure of the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solvent. Non-volatile solutes are the solutes that are not vaporized. So non-volatile solute is dissolved in the solvent. Vapor pressure of the solution will be proportional to the mole fraction of the solvent. So mathematically we will write that P is directly proportional to the X1. This P is the vapor pressure of the solution. It is proportional to the mole fraction of the solvent X1. So by removing this proportionality sign, we will put some constant, then P is equal to P naught X1. And this P is the vapor pressure of the solvent. P naught is the vapor pressure of pure solvent. This P is the vapor pressure of the solvent and the solution. P naught is the vapor pressure of pure solvent and X1 is the mole fraction of the solvent. And when we'll consider a binary solution means solution containing the two components. One is the solute and other is the solvent. And in the binary solution, X1 plus X2 it is equal to 1. X1, as I have told you, it is the mole fraction of the solvent. And X2 is the mole fraction of the solute. So mole fraction of the solvent plus mole fraction of the solute is equal to the 1. And when we will calculate the mole fraction of the solvent, it will be equal to 1 minus X2, as X2, when we will consider it on the other side of the equal sign, this positive will change into the negative value. So X1 mole fraction of the solvent is equal to 1 minus mole fraction of the solute. And we have calculated the value of this X1. So we will put this value of X1 in equation number 1. So when we will put the value of X1, mole fraction of the solvent, in equation number 1, we will get it as P is equal to P naught 1 minus X2. Simply we have put the value of X1 here, that is 1 minus X2. And we will open this bracket by multiplying the P naught with the 1 and X2. We will get this value. So this P minus P naught, this P naught on the equal sign, we will consider it on the other side. The sign of this positive value will change into the negative. So P minus P naught, it will be equal to minus P naught X2. In the next step, we will multiply this equation by the minus sign and we will get as P naught minus P. When we will multiply this by the minus sign, this P will become in the minus sign and this P naught will become the positive value. So rearrange this. P naught minus P is equal to P naught X2, as by multiplying by minus we will get this value in the positive way. So P naught X2. And this P naught minus P, it will be replaced by the delta P. And this delta P will be equal to P naught X2. It is our question number 2. And what is this delta P? It is the lowering in the vapor pressure of the solvent due to the presence of the solute. So when our solvent is not pure, as we have added the solute in the solvent, we have made the solution. So in this case, the vapor pressure of the pure solvent, it will be lowered, it will be decreased in value. That is indicated by this delta P. So delta P is considered as the lowering in the vapor pressure of the solvent due to the presence of solute. So delta P is equal to P naught X2. It is our question number 2. And this question number 2 gives another definition of the Raoult's law. And what is this definition? Lowering of vapor pressure is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solute, as lowering of the vapor pressure is proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. Greater the amount of the solute in the solution, more lowering will occur in the vapor pressure of the solvent. So now we will rearrange the equation number 2. So we will get, after rearrangement, delta P over P naught. Delta P over P naught. P naught by, it is multiplying here. So when we consider it on the other side of this equal sign, it will be divided. Delta P over P naught, it is equal to the x2. It is our equation number 3. And this delta P over P naught, it is called the relative lowering of the vapor pressure, and more important than the actual lowering of the vapor pressure. Actual lowering we consider how much vapor pressure of the pure solvent is lowered due to the presence of the solute, and relative lowering of the vapor pressure is that how much vapor pressure is decreased. The equation number 3, it gives us another definition of the Raoult's law. And what is the definition of this Raoult's law from this equation? Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. Relative lowering of vapor pressure, delta P over P naught is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. It is equal to the mole fraction of the solute. The relative lowering of vapor pressure is independent of the temperature, depends on the concentration of the solute, and constant when equimolar proportions of different solutes are dissolved in the same mass of the same solvent. If the solvent is same, mass remains the same, and how much different type of solute you dissolve it, it will remain constant. Now the Raoult's law for the ideal solution of two volatile components. So Raoult's law can also be applied to the solutions of two volatile components, means the two liquids which are the volatile. Up till here we have learned that application of the Raoult's law to the non-volatile solutes. But if the solutes are volatile, Raoult's law can also be applied there. The vapor pressure of each component is determined by its mole fraction and the vapor pressure of the pure component. So what we have to do, vapor pressure of each component will be determined by the mole fraction and the vapor pressure of the pure component. And total vapor pressure will always lies between the vapor pressure of pure component and determined by the mixture composition. So what is the vapor pressure of the pure component, and what is the vapor pressure that is lowering in vapor pressure take place due to the mixing of the solutes. So the total pressure will always be lies in between these two pressures. Now what are the causes of lowering in the vapor pressure? Why the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution, vapor pressure of the solvent decreases? Here you can see that there are three cases. In one, it is the pure solute particles. These are the pure solvent particles. And when these solute and solvent particles are mixed together in the solution, in the red color you can see these are the solvent particles, and black color these are the solute particles. It is the solution. Pure solvent, pure solute, and it is the solution. Now what happened when you make the solution? Why the vapor pressure of this pure solvent decreases in the solution? Every liquid has a definite vapor pressure at a particular temperature. So in a pure liquid, all the surface particles are that of the liquid. Here you can see it is the pure solvent. All the particles are of the solvent. But in the solution, it is containing this solute particles, non-volatile solute particles. So both solute and solvent particles are present on the surface. In the surface you can see only the solvent particles. Here you can see the solvent as well as the solute particles on the surface. So solute particles decrease the number of the solvent particles present on the surface. Number of particles on the surface are greater in this pure form, but in case of the solution, solvent particles, number of solvent particle decreases due to the presence of these solute particles. As you can see here, there are, suppose here are the 50 molecules are on the surface particles of the pure solvent, but when solution is formed, solute is here, so solute will take some surface. As a result, the solvent particles, their number decreases. So decreasing the number of surface solvent particles decreases the rate of evaporation of the solvent. So when there are less number of the solvent particles, less will be the evaporation of these solvent particles due to the presence of these solute particles. So vapor pressure will decrease. Thus the vapor pressure of the solution containing non-volatile solute is always less than the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. This pure solvent will have more vapor pressure as compared to the vapor pressure of the solvent in this solution. The vapor pressure of this solvent, it will decrease due to the presence of these non-volatile particles,